Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining me today for this re-recording of the webinar of the December 21st webinar because we had a glitch in the slide presentation, so I just wanted to re-record it for you. Um, alors, merci de. I'll make another recording in French. So welcome. My name is Dr. Lisa Ndejuru, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to Omora Healing and the Kumwe Women's Circle. So this is a space for healing, for connection, and growth. I deeply appreciate you taking the time to be here and to be with me. The webinar, the slides should take about maybe 30 minutes. I'm hoping to make it less than 30 minutes. You won't see the question and answers, but I wrote some of them down for you, and I'll tell you what those were at the end. So the original webinar had a lot more time to talk and to listen. Voilà. So if you have any questions, please write to us, info@omorahealing.com. So info@omorahealing in one word, OMORA healing in one word.com. Thank you. So, as I said, my name is Dr. Lisa Ndejuru. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm an artist. I'm a researcher. I'm a coach, and I wanted to tell you about the thing that I'm most passionate about, which is Black healing and wellness. It is necessary, but underfunded, often under-resourced, not culturally appropriate, not community specific, not harm reductive, and often replicating the traumas that create the need for healing. In the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of initiatives that respond to that, and that is good to see and know. And we have also been part of this, and we aim to create for us, by us, services that are Afro-positive and Afro-centered. Why we're here today? So we're living in an interesting moment. Yolo Akili Robinson from Beam in the US, so Black Emotional BEAM, called it a crisis of connection or intimacy. And I think that that's something that resonated with me. It's a moment that calls for healing, that calls for connection, and the rediscovering of the strength that we have when we move forward together. Over the last few years, the world has felt heavy for many people, especially post-pandemic. Many people are struggling with hope, with energy, with positivity. There are places in the world where things are very difficult, and places in our own worlds where things are also very difficult. Today, I'll introduce Omora Healing and the Kumwe Women's Circle as spaces designed to respond to those challenges. Over the past 2 years, I slowed down. I got sick and I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was a very harsh interruption, but it also turned out to be a gift. It allowed me to slow down, reflect, and figure out what I truly wanted to do and what was most important to me. One of the things that I realized during that time was that I couldn't do everything by myself. I was incredibly blessed to work with some truly amazing collaborators. I'm especially thinking about Black Healing Center with where I shout out to Sam and Kristen and Danny Joe and everyone there and Bree because the work and Katja because the work that we did together was powerful and deeply, deeply meaningful. Uh, During the pandemic, we faced a lot as a community and as communities. Um, there was the pandemic itself, and then there was the murder of George Floyd, which left the entire community, especially here in North America, raw, broken, often a lot, and overwhelmed. Waiting lists for support were often endless. People were down and hurting, and we knew that we needed to step up and tend to that. And so we developed programming. We created Black collective care circles for women, for men, and for queer folks. We organized retreats and we worked with trauma in different settings. And this work not only helped the community, but it also got me through my own healing journey. And so being with my people and creating something together carried me through my sickness. I was really loving the possibilities that we were developing together. Omora uh, grew out of this work. At the Black Healing Center, I partnered with an amazing collective that was establishing itself, and I'm keeping my role as clinical director there. But I had also been dreaming of creating my own organization for a really long time, and I finally realized that it was time to bring that dream to life. So healing in all its forms has always been my through line. So whether it's clinical work, creative practices, consulting, or anything else, the name Omora means putting a healing balm on something. And that's exactly what this is about. Omora is a space where all the different aspects of my work come together. So the research, the arts, the clinical practice, local initiatives, international efforts, and through it all, a focus on Afro-positive mental health. It all converges under Omora Healing. So this organization emerged not only from the work we were doing, but from the circumstances we were living through, circumstances that demanded and that still demand healing and creativity and community. Yeah, so this is that is why we're here. So the mission and the vision of Omora Healing are to nurture Afro-positive approaches to mental health and personal growth. And when we talk about Afro-positivity, we're talking about creating spaces where our voices, our needs, and our perspectives are at the center. For example, when I'm in Rwanda or other majority Black environments, working with Black women or Black people uh, doesn't make sense as a sentence, right? Because Black people are just people in those contexts. However, even in majority Black spaces, knowledge and authority frameworks and practices aren't always our own or adapted to us. And that's why the idea of sovereignty and dignity, creating and standing for what we value is still deeply important, no matter where we are. Sovereignty is at the heart of Afropositivity and all of our work. Our vision is to create spaces for individual, relational, and collective healing. At Omora, our offerings include programs, circles, delving, the Kumwe Women's Circle, delving deeper circle, um, and future program and retreats that are also coming. They're all opportunities for us to work and practice and learn together. So building the tools and the skills that we need to feel better and to focus on what matters. In terms of research, Omora Healing is involved in some exciting collaborations. For example, a SSHRC-funded, so SSHRC is the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council here in Canada on Turtle Island. So a SSHRC-funded community university collaboration with Concordia University in Montreal, Jajage, where we're centering community knowledge and fostering Black wellness in Montreal. A partnership with the Black Entrepreneurs Knowledge Hub, a Pan-Canadian initiative led by Carleton University, where we're exploring the mental health of Black entrepreneurs. And engaging with that. So that's a collaboration with the Pole, which is an entrepreneurial hub in Montreal, Jajage, in the north of the city. We're also working on retreats, both through the Black Healing Center and independently. So there are retreats planned for the new year with Black Healing Center. And in the medium to long term, I'd like to create spaces for healing on the African continent, including in Rwanda. These retreats are another way we aim to foster healing and growth. So what is Kumwe? Kumwe means together in the Rwandan language. In Rwanda, we say Turi Kumwe. Turi, we are, Kumwe, together. So it translates to we are together. The idea behind Kumwe is to create a relational community for Black women, a space where we can come together for healing, clarity, and connection. When we were running our collective care circles, we created 12-week programs for small groups for up to 12 people. They were beautifully contained, supportive spaces that allowed for deep work over a set period of time. And while these programs were impactful, what I wanted to do with Kumwe was to create something continuous, a year-long, year-round space where we can support each other throughout the year. So Kumwe is designed to be more accessible, more accessible than therapy. There's a monthly cost, which is recurring. It's in US dollars, by the way. But it's typically less or in the environment of then less than or about the same as one therapy session. The structure includes monthly themes, allowing us to focus on a specific area, on specific areas of growth and healing. So each month begins with a question. If I made the change I wanted to see, how would I know? And what would be different? And then once we've worked that through, in relation to that theme, every week we gather to reflect and work on these themes. We have tools and by setting aside dedicated time to focus on our growth, it becomes impossible not to see change. Our thoughts shift, our perspectives shift, and we come together to do this work collectively. And even though we all live different lives, working on the same theme creates shared insight. So what you're working on might inspire me, and what I'm working on might inspire you. Kumwe is more of a practice community than a talking community. It's about balancing the coaching, the listening, and actively doing the work together, each for ourselves and then coming together. If needs should arise, such as co-working times or listening spaces, we'll organize those as we go to ensure that everyone feels supported. Mm. Over the past year or so, I've noticed recurring themes in the things that people have asked me for help with. So personal growth and self-worth come up a lot. Issues like imposter syndrome and the feeling of being or not being enough, whether that's in work, in social situations, or in relationships. Family dynamics also frequently come up. These can be incredibly layered and complex, often tied to trauma. And then there are relationships, whether it's wanting to get into a relationship, wanting to get out of one, or navigating issues within them. So relationships are really such sort of rich areas to work in, especially when it comes to setting boundaries and understanding how we connect to others. Um, One of the guiding principles in our work is the Rwandan philosophy of being. So Kuba, Kubaho, Kubana, which translates to be here and now. So here and now is the present, right? Ho, and to be with. It explores the qualities of space and time, right? Here and now. uh, the present, and also um, the relational aspect of being with, right? With extends not only to others in our lives, but also to the other, right? In a more spiritual sense. I was going like this, but maybe it's not up, maybe it's imminent, maybe it's all around, depending on how you perceive or experience the sacred, right? Our work is not tied to any specific denomination or religion. Instead, it embraces spirituality as aspirations, values, and a connection to the sacred. And it's about the things that bring meaning to our lives, that make life feel vibrant and alive, rather than dull or numb, um, or, anxious, like that which makes you want to live the life that you have, right? The way we relate to this sense of meaning and how we expand it in our lives can profoundly impact our sense of aliveness. In terms of relationships, we often talk about relationality because it encompasses nearly everything, right? During a visit to Shift, the Concordia Space for Social Transformation with Black Healing Center, we were discussing a concept shared by Yolo. I mentioned them earlier. Yolo Akili from BEAM. So BEAM is the Black Emotional and Mental Health Network. Um, and they noted that when we experience emotion, it's a single word, right? A feeling. So angry, uh, afraid, you know, uh, joy, uh, jealousy, right? Um, uh, um, Emotion is a single word, and then everything around that, our interpretations, our reactions, our thoughts and stories. And these stories are about our partners, our parents, money, work, the places where we are in, the places where we want to be. And so relationality is these stories in action, right? And the powerful thing is that stories can be changed, right? They can be restoried. Feelings are valid whether they are challenging or um, easy or challenging or desirable or not. Um, they're they're always valid, um, and they're useful as information, but the stories that we tell ourselves can be rewritten. So tools exist to help us change or restore or restory these stories. creating narratives that guide us towards where we want to go. And there are other tools also to help us shift the feelings associated to things, right? Other recurrent themes that I've been asked about include burnout and career stress. Burnout isn't always about how much we do. Often it's about doing something that goes against our core values, right? So repeatedly acting against those values will wear us down. It erodes something fundamental, and that's the essence of burnout, right? Cultural and identity challenges are also significant topics, and these intersect with many of the other themes and deserve attention as we explore growth and healing. So if you have any questions or thoughts, let me know. I've been talking a lot, so info at uh, omorahealing.com, info@omorahealing.com, or uh, simply follow us on socials, so either Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, Omora Healing, and write to us. What can you expect from inside of the Kumwe Women's Circle? Because Kumwe is really where I want to start. It's the entry point to the work. And so in the first month, we'll begin getting into the rhythm of things. And by the second month, you may notice shifts in how you view yourself and your inner dialogue and the way you speak to yourself. And by the third month, I believe you'll start to see tangible changes in how you approach your life. It's not about making a massive effort, even though the more things that you are looking to um, get to, the more action is interesting, right? It's about attention and intention, right? It's about observing what's happening in your life, understanding what you need to do, and identifying what may be holding you back. And sometimes when we haven't made a change, there's something that is in the way, a block, a resistance, something. And part of the work is asking ourselves, what that is and whether we're ready to let it go, you know, uh, what's holding us back, and why, right? And sometimes it's like, to go to tread gently or softly, right? So there are many ways we can work with what we want to change. It's a process about creating space to explore these changes in a way that feels thoughtful and intentional and aligned with where you want to go. So each month we'll focus on a specific theme, and these monthly themes will guide our work and reflection throughout the month. And every week we'll have a live Zoom gathering where we come together to explore the theme, share, and learn. And all the sessions will be recorded. So if you can't attend live, you can always catch up later. Additionally, we'll have a question box where you can, or a question thread, let's say, where you can submit any questions that arise during the week. And once a week, we'll review and address these questions collectively in an anonymous way. Uh, the practices we'll use in Kumwe are rooted in Afro-positive postures and principles. And for me, these postures are about approaching ourselves and each other with kindness, even tenderness, love, and curiosity instead of judgment, right? Much of the suffering people carry, comes from how we perceive ourselves, people perceive themselves and their struggles. And so this compassionate approach is essential. We'll also incorporate neuroscience-based tools, particularly focusing on neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and adapt. Together, we'll explore how to activate neuroplasticity to create the changes that we need in our lives. So when we say neuroplasticity, this is not something we don't know how to do. It's something that we do with when we're learning all the time, when we're changing our minds, when we're trying to influence people. It's just the possibility that we have, that our brain has to change. And so um, we're we're using that in an intentional way. And finally, we'll integrate relational approaches, like we discussed earlier. These will help us deepen our connection to ourselves and to others, fostering healing and growth through community and shared practice. So the time for healing is now, and when I say the time for healing is now and propose Kumwe, the Kumwe Women's Circle, I also want to be clear that Kumwe is not for everyone. If someone has medical or psychiatric diagnoses and they need specialized medical care, Kumwe alone would not provide the support or structure that they require. This is a space for this space is designed for what we might call common condition. And while the term common might make it sound trivial, the reality of living with these challenges is not trivial, right? Kumwe is for those who are navigating issues like stress, uh, anxiety, burnout, sadness, grief, depression, trauma, relationship struggles or parenting challenges. They're the day-to-day difficulties that can make life hard, but they don't necessarily require medical interventions like medication or crisis care. So if you are depressed and um, taking antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication, it's fine. Um, but if you are in crisis, in life crisis, if you are, then this is not enough, right? Because this is an online virtual space once a week, so it's not enough for really crisis kind of care. And um, I would want you to be safe first and foremost. So this space is for those looking to grow and heal in a supportive relational environment and safety. So safety for ourselves and for one another is really, really paramount. So if you are in crisis, then I want you to really, really reach out to find the care that you need, right? Um, People often ask why Kumwe is specifically for Black women and women of color. And of course, they wonder, what about the men? Uh, and what I found is that when we're in spaces with just ourselves, when women and men also, with Black Healing Center, we have um, Black men only spaces. When we're in spaces with just ourselves, it allows us to focus entirely on our own needs, which is something we don't often get to do. All the time we're thinking about and caring for others, where Kumwe offers a space 1 or 2 hours a week where we can focus on ourselves, our concerns, and our healing without having to think about everyone else. And in some ways, we still do because a lot of the challenges that we are experiencing are in relation with others as well. But it's from our own perspective, right? And it's for our own healing and growth. That said, so that's why we created the Kumwe Women's Circle. But if there's enough demand for a men's circle can absolutely be created. At the Black Healing Center, we've trained community care practitioners, and there are people ready to lead circles for men. And these opportunities will also grow as time goes on. For now, though, I felt that it was important to start with this women's circle. And if over time you feel like you want to go even deeper, there will be a delving deeper circle, a more intensive space for those who have already done a lot of work, but feel that there's still something that is unresolved. That would come later, though, not right away. Right now, I want to offer Kumwe as a year-long circle, a consistent supportive space where we can work together throughout the year. Voila. So you can join the Kumwe Women's Circle. Registration is open. Weekly gatherings begin January 6th, 2025. You can register today on the Kumwe tab of the omorahealing.com. If you go to omorahealing.com, there's a website and there's a tab called Kumwe. Kumwe is spelled Kumwe, and then it'll bring you to the landing page and you can register. I want you to know that there is a reset week this upcoming week. For 5 days, there'll be every day an hour of coaching to reset all the and gain some momentum to lead into Kumwe. So that'll be for Kumwe, for people who've registered for Kumwe, it'll be free. And then for people who want to do just the reset week, it's $27. And then the $27, if you like it, if you like working with me, then you can put the $27 towards the monthly cost of Kumwe. That way it won't cost you anything. Voila. As I said, your questions and reflections and next steps. What are you curious about and what is resonating with you today was a question that I asked people, and you're always welcome to let me know. info@omorahealing.com. Voila. This is gratitude for you for showing up for yourself and for this community. I really believe that healing happens when we come together. So, turi kumwe, we're together.